The very best coaches and leaders operate from this standpoint. They operate with the mindset that it is my job to hold myself accountable, for performance and excellence, and to hold you, my client, or the people that I'm leading, to hold you as capable. Okay, so let's break that down. See, extraordinary leaders know that to create a culture of accountability, it all starts with you, the leader, right? Leading by example, as much of a cliche as it is the first step. When your team sees you holding yourself accountable, it sets the standard for everyone else. And if you look around and you notice that the people around you aren't holding themselves accountable, you want to take the case that you aren't setting the example, even if you think you are. See, the very best leaders demonstrate accountability by setting clear goals, making them explicit, sharing them publicly, and setting expectations for themselves, right? And then sharing progress and setbacks transparently with your team, owning your mistakes, right? And communicating that. This transparency builds trust and encourages others to do the same. Now, in this video, I want to invite you to set aside, maybe even temporarily forget about the notion of holding others accountable. Mostly, the way that we think about holding others accountable and the way that we actually do it isn't effective, and at its very best gets compliance, not any real type of commitment. Instead, I want you to think about your job as the leader, as the coach, is to hold others capable. See, this means always seeing your team members as able to perform and succeed. See, look, if you've hired the right people, and we're going to assume that you have, they are capable. And you must always return yourself to this mindset. When there are breakdowns or issues, we sometimes forget that we're dealing with a person who is awesome, who is whole and complete, and that may simply be lacking some skill, or they need some structure or system for support, or simply they need more time to perform the task that you're asking them to. Or maybe they were just having a bad day, right? As a leader, it's your job to make sure that your team has what they need to succeed and that you are relating to them as capable and reminding them of that. Okay, so if you've got those two things in place, you're leading by example and you're relating to people as capable, and they experience really being seen and supported by you, then, and only then, can you add in training in holding oneself accountable. However, I'm really underlining the word training because mostly we think that if we go to someone and in the midst of a failure point out their failure, that will teach them to be accountable. See, it doesn't. You've got to set aside time for your team to learn the steps for holding themselves accountable outside of the heat of the moment, right? In a supportive and sort of, safe learning environment. You've got to give them these skills and then provide them with support and opportunities to practice these skills. So there are really 4 steps and 4 skills within each step that someone needs to learn and to practice and to master to be able to hold themselves accountable. Step 1, identify the gap. When you don't meet a commitment, acknowledge it and take the time to self-reflect. Ask yourself questions like, what was supposed to happen? And what actually happened? Get clear and straight about that. Do this without judgment or justification. Step 2, set clear objectives and structures for being accountable for whatever the breakdown was. So you want to identify specific, measurable goals for improvement, and it's important to make these goals achievable. Step 3, create an action plan. Develop a plan for how you will rectify the situation. Are there any messes that need to be fixed? Or do you just need to do the thing that you didn't do in the first place? Step 4, regular check-ins. Let the other people, like your teammates or your clients who were impacted by you not following through on your commitment or showing up the way that you are committed to showing up, let them know what you plan on doing to do better next time. And then engage them in ongoing dialogue. Set up regular touch points for progress updates. These conversations should be empowering and not self-punitive. Now look, each one of these steps may involve you getting support from an outsider, right? There might be certain things where you're kind of like, I don't know what was missing, right? I don't know what the action plan should look like. That's when you, as the person who's holding themselves to account, you want to invite in coaching. You want to invite in support from the person that you are accountable to, right? Like you're, the person that you report to or a coach, like I said. So, but that's a very different dynamic, right? It is a completely different world when I'm taking responsibility for saying, I want support from the outside, right? So me going to get support from someone else versus someone coming to me and going, hey, you didn't do these things and this is what you need to do to make sure you're doing better next time, all right? So you want to train yourself and your team in these 4 steps. And once everyone has been trained in them and signed off on them, you've got to communicate that it is expected that people will go through these steps whenever there is some sort of lapse in performance. And as we started from, you've got to be following these steps yourself as the leader and the coach. Holding oneself accountable is a skill, right? It is something that you can learn and get better at and master over time. And it requires frequent opportunities for supportive reminders and practice. Remember, the goal is not to create a culture of fear, but one of growth and empowerment. By holding ourselves accountable and holding others capable, we really can elevate our teams to new heights. Creating a culture of accountability within your organization is a journey, and it starts with you, the leader, setting the example and empowering your team members. By teaching everyone the art of self-accountability, we can build a workplace where everyone thrives. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more leadership insights. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay updated on my latest content. Until next time, remember, accountability breeds success.